Today we're checking out a game from the Red Bull Wololo. The Red Bull Wololo is using a modified version of Empire Wars for its tournament format. What does this mean? This means essentially that players start with 27 villages already working, as you can see. They start in the feudal age and they start with a barracks and a blacksmith straight away, which means this is such an aggressive game mode. It's great in terms of entertainment. I've absolutely loved it. The map is El Dorado, which means both players start with this puddle around their town center. The puddle does contain fish, so it means they can get off to a pretty easy start in terms of the food income, but the downside is they can't build farms around their town center. As for the main attraction of the map, El Dorado, all the gold, all the stone is in the middle of the map. The big catch is going to be that it's always all visible, so players are going to be able to see it pretty much no matter what. It has been changed up a little bit, as there is this water around the side with all the fish, so players can produce a dock, and it looks like that's exactly what Slam's going for now. So that's a little bit of an overview on the settings, a little bit of an overview on the map. As for the players, let's check out who we've got and the civilizations. In the blue, playing as the Indians, we do have Slam. The big things for him on this map: faster fishing, going to be huge with those fish spawning around the town center. Cheaper villages, he starts in feudal age, so 15% cheaper villages, and then more importantly, he can move into camels. If he gets gold, he can move into hand cannons, all that gunpowder, all the good stuff if he gets gold control in the center of the map. And looks like TheMax is actually making his first attack here. One other thing to note on this version, instead of a starting scout, both players actually start with 2 horses. Just an extra note to have, so scout rushing does take a little bit longer. So I'm just seeing if we catch any villages here, and it looks like Slam's doing... Oh, Slam got one over here and here. While we're over here, we'll talk about TheMax really quickly. TheMax is actually playing as the Magirs, which means he does have cheaper scouts, which is always nice, so it means the scout rush is very, very effective. More importantly, if I click on one of these scouts, you'll see the +3 attack. Same goes to the spear, +1. Free forging, always nice to have. Means those scouts are a little bit more brutal. They're a little bit more cost efficient. I would say Slam, cheaper villages, and having that faster fishing speed kind of balances it out here at the start, but we'll see how the game decides to develop, and man, having that +1 attack is so good. But here we go, the play from Max is actually going down with a tower in the center of the map here, and like I said, this is all visible to Slam. He can see this coming. He can't really push into it at the moment though, which is a bit of a shame. His scouts are over looking for somewhere against Max, probing, prodding, trying to find somewhere to do some damage. And I don't think Slam's going to have an answer to this, sadly. Both players do spawn with 1 gold a little bit close to their town center. Sadly, Slam's is pretty much directly to the middle here. As we saw before, TheMax over towards this edge, so he does have a little bit of a safety net in terms of moving around. So the question is now, how does Slam decide to deal with this tower? And of course, counter tower goes up so he can defend his own gold. Spearmen come in to harass us a little bit, and Scout's just trying to find somewhere to do a little bit more damage. I think the biggest thing we kind of need to keep an eye on economy-wise right now as well is the fact that we do have a dock out for Slam, we don't have a dock out for TheMax, and TheMax has actually taken this main central area, which means he can start gathering the stone. Let's have a look. Village is actually fighting off these scouts pretty effectively. It doesn't look like he lost one. One villager, though, is kind of walking away a little bit. What do we got? Scout still hanging out in the back here, and looks like here comes the fight. Let's see what happens here. Archery range gets thrown up, villagers get pulled, spears moving out, trying to deny this tower a little bit here from Slam, but look at this, an extra tower gets thrown up from TheMax, so actually deleted as he realizes how close the tower is. Ooh, there we go. And the fight is on. Tower v tower, archery range does get plopped down for TheMax, however. Slam, what's your counter plan here? Because you have lost control of this central area. Looking at the villager count, it's dead even, 42 to 42. We do have the ships, though, from Slam, the fishing ships. Can't forget about them, and Slam also starting to get his wall offs in place. He's walling across the back here and here, so we should have a relatively protected eco. And looks like he's actually going for a second dock, so he should have a very strong eco behind this. And looks like he's actually starting to take some of those turkeys. TheMax looking for somewhere to do some damage here. He's holding down the middle, which is the main part of his strategy right now. Bleed his opponent out of gold, translate that into gold units that your opponent can't really push back against. Slam, though, this is a lot of scouts built up. This is a lot of scouts built up that I don't think TheMax is going to be expecting. I've seen a couple of spears from him wandering around, but since the initial scout war, I don't think we've seen a huge amount. And look at this, archery range comes up as well. This is interesting. Neither player at the moment looking like they want to go to Castle Age. Let's have a quick look here. TheMax starting to get that food count up. Looks like this should be killed off by the town center. No, gonna get out of there just in time. Did not have enough units close by to garrison it. Over for Slam. Looks like he's just still investigating with his horses, running around, seeing what his opponent's doing. Oh, this is going to be a huge scout raid. I'm just going to keep them highlighted on the map for us for a second. And we'll dive over as soon as they decide to actually go for an attack. And looks like they're moving in now. Having a look at this side, we are seeing the same kind of play from the Max. The Max trying to find some way to play aggressively here. Does get one villager, gets chased away straight away though. But here comes the big fight straight on top of the farms. One villager goes down. One villager gets away. Spear goes down. This villager over here definitely going to go down. Third one could even snag a farm if he really wants to. Actually, no, don't worry. It's complete. Loses another villager, starting to turn this one a little bit more. However, the Max still on the higher villager count overall. 43 for Slam, 48 for the Max. And look at this, we've got those scouts still in the back, still being absolutely annoying. And it looks like a fight starting in the center of the map here. Scouts starting to take down the archers. A second tower comes up from the Max, but the Scout's going to jump on top of that one straight away. Will hopefully deny it for the Slam's sake. And there's archers under here, just going to sit under the tower. Just needs to deny this one now. Does he have fletching? He's got fletching behind this. The Max has fletching as well. Gets two villagers under here. This is really, really good for Slam, especially if he can keep the raiding up during this. It's perfect. The second stable actually coming down for the Max now. The Max nowhere near moving up to Castle Age. Same thing goes for Slam. Both of them committed really into the feudal fight here. Look at the amount of scouts. I actually don't know what Max can do against this. The score right now is just telling the entire story. There's nothing the Max can do in the center to kind of hold it down. He needs a couple of spears in here, and it looks like he's got a couple slowly starting to move in, but the numbers are just too many. We've got the +1 attack, the +1 armor on the scouts for Slam, and it looks like the Max has been pushed out of this entire central area. The good news is he has a lot of spears here, but 3-4 archers. If this is microed correctly, the Max won't be able to push into these scouts. And I don't think that's going to be an option. Max pretty much panics up a market back towards his base, has a bunch of idle villagers trying to push that one forward. And here come the spears. And exactly like I was saying, look at this. The archers just attack, the spears get pulled back, and the scouts can even go in and get some free hits. Gets a villager there, and there's the GG. The Max decides to call it a game. Slam took back the center amazingly well. I think the fishing eco would have helped him out quite a little bit on the sides. We did have the Max push around, try and do some damage with some fire ships, but most of the ships did actually survive here. But this is Empire Wars, guys, in terms of the Red Bull Wololo. Hopefully it gives you an idea of what we're going to be going into with the tournament over the next couple of weekends, and I hope you really enjoyed the settings. We'll see you in the next game.